Monday, which means we're gonna be doing some stuff. This week's stuff is vegan meal prep. So what are we making? This week we are making a Thanksgiving pie. And I know what you're saying, Megan, it's August. Why are we making Thanksgiving pie? Because it's delicious. I found a recipe last Thanksgiving online from Big Box Vegan. I will link it down in the description. And it's delicious. It's basic pie crust with a vegan pie filling and then stuffing on top. I'm doing a little bit of a riff on it. It recommends using a chicken substitute, and instead I'm gonna try chickpeas just to see what's what. But before we get there, I found the monster variety of Sweet Lauren's cookies, which are gluten-free and free of the top 9 allergies and certified vegan and all that good stuff. Usually I don't see those. There's the 2 or 3 standard flavors that we have at our Stop and Shop. This one is new. I don't know if it's new totally or if it's just new to our location, but I'm very excited to try it because it's got M&Ms in it. And I kind of miss having monster cookies, especially when I'm really into my vegan meal prep. So we're gonna slap some of those into the oven. And by some, I mean the entire dozen. And then we will be making the stuffing top for the Thanksgiving pie. There it is. I already cooked up some bread. You dehydrate it in the oven for an hour and a half if you're making the vegan stuffing recipe that is linked in it. I tend to do that because a lot of our other stuffing options that are easily available use chicken stock, even the herb ones. So we'll be making stuffing to go on top. That you have to make a little bit earlier because it recommends that you let it cool before you put it on top of the pie. So cookies, stuffing, and then we'll make the pie filling. So the cookies have been finished, and now we're working on the stuffing that's going to go on top. It's recommended that you let it cool fully, so I tend to make it as early as possible once the bread has been dried out. So you start with some butter and some celery and onion. I have to dice up parsley and thyme, and then a couple other things. I think I have poultry seasoning, and we're gonna throw this together. Okay, so we got parsley, thyme, and poultry seasoning added. This recipe recommends that before you add in the broth, you add in the bread to get the bread coated with all of the stuff, which I don't think I've ever made stuffing any other way, but if you don't make it that way, I recommend it because, I don't know, I feel like the butter flavor is more there. I just have to add the, the stock, the broth. That's what I'm adding. So now we're just adding the broth, and then I get to let it cool for a while. Keep forgetting to film updates. We're doing the filling. Pretty standard, I think, for a Thanksgiving pot pie situation. There's celery, carrots, onion, thyme. It recommends to use dried thyme, but I had a fresh bundle, so I've been using fresh. Garlic. I think the weirdest thing that you add into this is probably the heavy vegan cream, which is usually a soy or coconut based product. And then yeah, I'm waiting for it to cook down a little bit more, and then I get to add the frozen peas and the chickpeas, and then you let it cool while the oven preheats, and then once the oven's done preheating, you slap it all together and you have a pie, and then it bakes for a while. So everything becomes friends, and the pie crust, which is still raw, gets cooked. So I'll probably check in with you guys again when I'm done dealing with that nonsense and adding the peas. You'll see that in about 2 seconds. I don't know why I keep saying I'm going to check in with you guys. It's not like it's not going to be right now. See, I told you, right now. So we added in the peas and the chickpeas, and it's really thickened up. So I'm just trying to leave it on the heat for a couple extra seconds, maybe a minute tops, so the peas thaw a little bit more. And you know what, actually, and now we preheat the oven. So this just finished preheating, and the thing that I wasn't able to get was filling this pie. So pretty much you take all the filling, you dump it into this pie crust that I made that was a little too short. So it's in there. We're not going to talk about it. And then you take the stuffing that you prep earlier and you pack it on top. There's a little bit left, and I could pile it really high, or I'm going to leave a little bit of space so it can breathe a bit, and I am going to have that for a snack. So this pops into the oven for like 40-45 minutes, and then when it's done, it's like a full Thanksgiving dinner in a pie, and it's vegan. That happened. And just like that, it's out of the oven. Nice and crispy. It's cooked all the way through, I hope. I haven't checked the bottom yet, but that's kind of what it looks like when it's done. We ate maybe 20% of the pie, and we are full. But it held up pretty well this time, I think. So now, we're doing a Stranger Things rewatch and a cookie. And that's all for this week. I really enjoy this recipe. If you want to give it a try, it's down in the description. Give it a go. Also, Sweet Lauren's is phenomenal. That's all. I'll see you next week. Bye.